Pondicherry, March 29, 1914. O Thou whom we must know, understand, realize, absolute consciousness, eternal law, Thou who guidest and illuminest us, who movest and inspirest us, grant that these weak souls may be strengthened, and those who fear be reassured. To Thee I entrust them, even as I entrust to Thee our entire destiny. March 30, 1914. In the presence of those who are integrally Thy servitors, those who have attained the perfect consciousness of Thy presence, I become aware that I am still far, very far from what I yearn to realize, and I know that the highest I can conceive, the noblest and purest, is still dark and ignorant beside what I should conceive. But this perception, far from being depressing, stimulates and strengthens the aspiration, the energy, the will to triumph over all obstacles, so as to be at last identified with Thy law and Thy work. Gradually, the horizon becomes distinct. The path grows clear, and we move towards a greater and greater certitude. It matters little that there are thousands of beings plunged in the densest ignorance. He whom we saw yesterday is on earth. His presence is enough to prove that a day will come when darkness shall be transformed into light, and Thy reign shall be indeed established upon earth. O Lord, divine builder of this marvel, my heart overflows with joy and gratitude when I think of it, and my hope has no bounds. My adoration is beyond all words. My reverence is silent. 1st April 1914. I feel we have entered the very heart of Thy sanctuary and grown aware of Thy very will. A great joy, a deep peace reign in me, and yet all my inner constructions have vanished like a vain dream, and I find myself now before Thy immensity without a frame or system, like a being not yet individualized. All the past in its external form seems ridiculously arbitrary to me, and yet I know it was useful in its own time. But now all is changed. A new stage has begun. 2nd April 1914. Every day when I want to write, I am interrupted as though the new period opening now before us were a period of expansion rather than of concentration. It is in the activity of each moment that we must serve Thee and identify ourselves with Thee, rather than in deep and silent contemplation or in meditation, written or unwritten. But my heart does not tire of singing a hymn to Thee, and my thought is constantly filled with Thee. 3rd April 1914. It seems to me that I am being born to a new life, and all the methods, the habits of the past can no longer be of any use. It seems to me that what I thought were results is nothing more than a preparation. I feel as though I have done nothing yet, as though I have not lived the spiritual life, only entered the path that leads to it. It seems to me that I know nothing, that I am incapable of formulating anything, that all experience is yet to begin. It is as though I was stripped of my entire past, of its errors as well as its conquests, as though all that has vanished and made room for a newborn child, whose whole existence is yet to be lived, who has no karma, no experience to learn from, but no error either, which has to be set right. My head is empty of all knowledge and all certitude, but also of all vain thought. I feel that if I learn how to surrender without any resistance to this state, if I do not try to know or understand, if I consent to be completely like an ignorant and candid child, some new possibility will open before me. I know that I must now definitively give myself up and be like an absolutely blank page on which Thy thought, Thy will, O Lord, can be inscribed freely without danger of any deformation. An immense gratitude rises from my heart. It seems to me that I have at last reached the threshold I sought so much. Grant, O Lord, that I may be sufficiently pure, impersonal, animated with Thy divine love, to be able to cross it definitively. Oh, to belong to Thee without any darkness, without any restriction. 4th April 1914. O Lord, my adoration rises ardently to Thee. All my being is an aspiration, a flame consecrated to Thee. Lord, Lord, my sweet Master, it is Thou who livest and willest in me. This body is Thy instrument, this will is Thy servant. This intelligence is Thy tool, and the whole being is only Thyself. 7th April 1914. What kind of courage is mine that I always try to avoid the fight? What kind of energy is mine that I am instinctively frightened of the new effort to be made and try, without being aware of it, to go to sleep passively, relying upon the results of previous efforts? In order to act, I have to be compelled, and my mute contemplation is partly made of laziness. All this is becoming more and more clearly apparent to me. All that I have done till now seems to me to be nothing. The poverty and limitations of the instrument I put at Thy service, Lord, are evident to me, and I laugh a little sorrowfully at the idea that at times I could have a good opinion of my being, its efforts and their results. This threshold of the true life that I always think I have reached is like a hope bestowed upon me, but never a tangible realization. It is the toy promised to a child, the reward held out for a moment before the weak. When shall I become a truly strong being, made entirely of courage, energy, valor, and calm perseverance? When shall I have forgotten my own person completely, enough to be nothing but an instrument molded solely by the forces it has to manifest? When will my consciousness of unity be no longer tinged with any inertia? When will my feeling of divine love be no longer mixed with any weakness? O Lord, all thought seems dead within me. Now that I have asked these questions, I search for my conscious mind, and I do not find it. I search for my individuality, and I cannot discover it anywhere. I search for my personal will, and it is not there. I search for Thee, and Thou art silent. Silence, silence. Now I seem to hear thy voice. Never hast thou known how to die integrally. Always something in thee has wanted to know, to witness, to understand. Surrender completely. Learn how to disappear. Break the last barrier that separates thee from me. Accomplish unreservedly thy act of surrender. Alas, O Lord, for a long time have I wanted it, but I could not. Now wilt thou give me the power to do so? O Lord, my sweet eternal Master, break this resistance which fills me with anguish. Deliver me from myself.